from Bass Hole Studios in Hollywood, California. You're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one, so let's talk about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole, sir.
He's an asshole.
Hey everyone, welcome to I'm an Asshole. My name's Doug Bass. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast today. Make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. The YouTube channel is at Doug Bass Comedy. All those good things. Please subscribe and download and tell your friends and all that good stuff. This is a great show today. This guest has been really hard for me to get on the show. It's been like a pain in the ass to really lock her down and get her on. And that is my wife, Cassi Pires. Cassi Pires is on the show today. Cassi, how are you?
I'm well. No, I'm just
See, now people think that that's how you speak. And they're going to be like, what?
I am doing really well. I don't know if you can see.
Try to speak into the microphone when you
sorry.
do this.
Okay,
Move your chair up.
I'm gonna scoot up.
There you go. If you can't hear yourself in the headphones, then you're not doing it right.
Oh, I can hear myself.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
Hi,
it's great to be here on the Asshole Podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just really couldn't find the time.
I mean, you really can. I think I've asked you since I started doing this in the summer to do it, and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, you live in the same house. I don't know what the problem was.
In lockdown, you get into a routine, and my routine is I'm really dedicated to personal development, which includes really just endless Dateline episodes, watching of Dateline episodes. Specifically, I don't like the ones that are about. Serial. I'll turn it off if it's about a serial killer. I don't even like it if it's like Friends, or like random. I don't like random either. Random's the worst. Random and serial killers I don't like. I like spousal murder is what I'm into when it comes to Dateline.
That doesn't make me feel comfortable. By the way, that's the problem. Is that you watch that shit all day, and then I live in the same house as you, and it depresses me. It brings me down a little bit.
You're the one who got me into it.
I got you. You didn't watch that before you met me?
No. In fact, I remember when we moved into our previous place. Our neighbor Victoria, God rest her soul. Her whole thing about you was that you were too obsessed with you watch Dateline too much.
Yeah. You know what though? I would watch it like. Maybe
the tables have turned.
No, but here's the thing. I would watch it like maybe like once a week or every other week. I'd watch it like if I'm staying in this weekend, I'm going to put it on as a treat. I'm going to put it on and be creeped out or whatever.
It is a treat.
But now I don't like it anymore because it's on all the time. You kind of wore out its welcome for a minute. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. It's like too much of a good thing.
It was too much.
I remember one time I ate, I was obsessed with Slim Jims as a kid, and then one day I had 10 of them, and I couldn't eat Slim Jims again for 15 years.
Right. So it's like the same. It's the same thing. It was like every time I would go to watch it, you'd be like, "Oh, I've seen this one. I've seen this one. I've seen this one," and I was like, "All right, well, I don't know if I'm that interested in this anymore."
Can you imagine? Being grossed out by Slim Jims. What kind of? I wasn't even living for those years.
That's not. I mean, that's not the healthiest thing to eat. You don't even know what's in it, really.
Some things you just don't need to know. Anyway, I do like Dateline. I'm sorry.
Oh, waffles! You ruined the camera shot.
Oh well. It's a family. It's a family show.
Is it still on you?
Yeah, it's on me. No, it's fine. It was just wobbling.
It's really hard to do this podcast with dogs in the house. I'm going to tell you that.
This is the Asshole Podcast Family Edition. So
I know.
We're just lucky we don't have some rogue 2-year-olds crawling in through the door and then our.
I know it's hard to do with even just the dogs. I got to put them in the other room and stuff usually. But,
yeah.
And then they bark, and it's supposed to be quiet, or you're trying to do voiceover. And it's it's a whole thing.
But some of the most professional podcasts that people are spending money to produce, when they do interviews of people, you hear dogs and babies and things in the background.
Yeah, no, it makes
it
makes it real. I mean, I don't mind it as much, but sometimes it's a lot. If you're trying to do a an ad or something, you don't really want them barking in the background. But the show, I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, you're home.
I have to say, I don't know about you. I was fucking shocked when we had, so look, nowadays, Michael Phelps, and some of these other celebrities, like they've removed the stigma from therapy and counseling and things. So as mature adults who want to nurture a healthy relationship, Doug and I, we have some help. We have some professional help. And it's just someone who's like a third party that we talk to every week. But one of the first times we met with him was in the pandemic. Raise your hand if you sought out marriage counseling during the pandemic. Anyways, I was shocked. Our first meeting, he seemed so put off by two things. One, I was drinking, which you did warn me about.
I mean, I did kind of say something like, we are doing couples counseling because it is the pandemic, and why not? But yeah, the first meeting, Cassie shows up, sits down in the living room with a glass of wine or a cocktail or whatever it was, and I kind of was like, I don't think you're supposed to be drinking during this. And then I don't know if he noticed it until the second meeting or whatever, but I was like, yeah, this isn't happy hour. This isn't social hour. You're not supposed to be smoking joints and doing shots during there. But if we were going to his office, which you would normally do,
I would have brought a roadie.
No, you wouldn't have.
It helps me loosen up.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
I can be more honest with you see how closed off I was last night? It's because I didn't have a drink.
Yeah, but then all right, then that's another subject to bring up is how many drinks
so is that for next week?
I don't know. I mean,
Doug does this thing where anytime he gets mad at me throughout the week, he's like, "Oh, we'll talk about that on Monday."
Well, because there's why? Because there's no mediator, and
in our lives, just constantly.
Well, that's what we're paying him for. I mean.
Yeah, for an hour, for 50 minutes. They're always very
I don't understand why it's 50 minutes. Why not 60? Why not the whole hour?
10 minutes to prepare.
You get a massage. You get a massage. You get an hour. You don't get 50 minutes.
They do 50-minute massages.
Do they?
Yeah. I think they do because you want to prepare for that next. It makes sense.
But what is the 10-minute difference? Just give the 10 minutes.
Because he needs to pull up his files for the next couple, get on the next call, get his headspace into
I guarantee there's no couple after
Actually,
us.
that's a pandemic. That's actually something that's come out in the pandemic from in the corporate world. And we actually started doing this before the pandemic at my previous company. We try to schedule 25-minute and I don't do this shit anymore because unless everyone does it, it doesn't work. You schedule 25-minute meetings or 50-minute meetings, not 30 and 60 because then everyone's late to the next meeting. So it makes sense if everyone does.
Should I aim to do that for the podcast? Hey, it's a 45-minute podcast.
Well, now that you're churning this out like it's a podcast sweatshop. You've done I feel 50 of these in the past.
There's 5 kids under the desk wrangling wires.
They're loading in the dailies as we talk.
You're gonna get canceled now for saying that.
Oh gosh.
Why is it got to be Asians under the desk?
Sweatshops. I mean, whatever. You generally think of China, but anyways, there was a number 2.
Number 2 what?
I need a minute. No. No, the first one was...
What are you talking about?
You have to write down what I'm saying. I said therapy, and then there was something else. Oh, my gosh. I lost my train of thought.
I mean, we're talking about you showing up with a cocktail at therapy.
Yep.
Was it something else you did during therapy you were talking about?
No, or the pandemic. I don't know. Whatever. We can move on.
Oh.
You're going to have to, keep track of my thoughts here.
Well, how am I supposed to do that?
Podcast. I don't know.
This is your first one?
When I say that I'm going to talk about 2 things.
But you didn't mention what it was.
I know. I don't remember what the original subject was.
So how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to keep track of it?
Because you're my husband and you should read my mind.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, no, Dateline. Oh, wait. So we said Dateline. I've been, because we were talking about why I haven't been on the podcast sooner.
Oh,
and frankly,
You've been very busy watching
I just
Dateline.
really can't be bothered because I'm just watching
I know.
Dateline.
And that's the thing. Don't even give me some bullshit answer. It's I know what you're doing. It's either Dateline or Real Housewives of Potomac or whatever. Potomac, whatever.
And if you don't know about Potomac,
but it's anyway, it's you watch all these reality shows. I know you're doing work while they're on, but it is kind of a mind suck a little bit for me. I hear that in the background, and I'm like, oh my God, this again?
Well, put your headphones in.
Yeah, I always have to have my headphones in. It's like I live in a headphone-wearing world all the time. I mean, I have my headphones on for this. Then I go in the bedroom, and I got to put headphones on to watch TV or block out whatever you're listening to.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you know.
it's a sad life.
Why do you want to watch so much reality? Like cheesy reality.
I don't know.
Why don't you watch more scripted things than versus reality? I find that when you watch a scripted thing, you are on your phone nonstop, checking in on what everything else is going on, but you're not paying attention to the story or the characters unless I force you to be like, put your phone in the drawer, we're watching this movie.
I don't know. I always just feel like I'm like neglecting something if I'm not on my phone. And
But
I
why
also
is that?
just
Do you realize that's a sickness now?
oh my goodness, it's a sickness.
No, it is.
I know. That's why I check.
You have your phone in
I have
front
a
of you during this
disability when
podcast
you're,
right now.
applying for jobs. I do because we have people coming over after.
Yeah, but they're not coming over for a while.
See, I run a tight.
No, but like
schedule.
you are addicted to your phone a little bit, don't you?
I'm
agree?
definitely addicted to it. Oh, there's
Do you
no
think you
argument
need?
there.
Do you think you need some sort of help with that situation?
I need help with a lot of things, Doug. I'm not sure if I'd start off with the phone.
Well, I mean,
But some of my friends would say absolutely start with the
I
phone.
think
Because maybe the phone is actually, maybe there's something goes back to my childhood.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. Like,
Were you
maybe
obsessed with like electronics as a kid, like a Game Boy or whatever?
I did love my Game Boy. I was always a late adopter. I always got everything really late. All right, I'm addicted to my phone,
Yeah.
which my phone is in really wonderful shape.
No, that's
I don't know
my
if you
old
can see
phone that you have broken, even further than it was.
Look, I have Doug on my phone. He doesn't have me on his phone. He doesn't have me on Instagram, not on Facebook. It's like he doesn't want people
Do you
to know
have
he's
me on
married.
Instagram? I don't know.
He doesn't have his ring on.
Well, that's because I'm doing the podcast. I gotta work these.
He's been doing the podcast
I don't
for
really
a
like.
year.
I don't like jewelry. I don't like wearing jewelry.
Okay.
I mean, I'll wear it. I have it right here in the drawer.
In the drawer.
Well, it's right here.
Show it to me.
Show it to you.
Yeah. Show me that you know where the ring is.
Now you're taking over the show. See, here's the
Oh. Is that me leading again?
ring. There it is.
Okay.
I'll put it. How about I'll
Am I
wear it?
too close to the mic? I've been told that when I sing, it's like they're
Well,
like, you're not
this
giving a
is
blowjob cast, you're singing.
How about I will wear the ring for the show?
You don't have to.
Why?
Well, I'm not wearing mine.
Well, I'll see. Why aren't you wearing yours? I'm afraid. I'm more afraid.
Doing a podcast.
I'm more afraid that you're gonna lose your ring because this isn't worth that.
That's
much.
what it is.
No, but like yours. I mean,
You're right. No, that's what I don't want to lose it. That's what it is.
I mean, I wouldn't put past you losing it,
No, I know.
and
There's
that's
a lot of
why.
things
That's
I would-
why it's dangerous. I would say for you not to wear it or leave it at home or something. I don't know. It's in your bag somewhere. I know that, and
It
like
is. It's in a
that's-
bag within a bag
yeah, but like that's
in
like
a pocket.
but that's a recipe for losing it at some point.
I know.
Like leave it home or put it on. I would say
Okay.
this is $100 if I lose it. Not that I've
yeah.
lost it.
That's how much it was.
150.
That's how much our love is worth to you. 150.
We were on a budget.
Did I pay for the ring or did you?
I-
Who's supposed to pay for the man's ring?
I paid for my own ring.
Is that standard?
I don't know.
Seems odd. Seems like I should have bought that.
Yeah, you owe me $150. I'll send you a Venmo. I don't know.
How long have we been married?
4.5 years. Is that right?
Yes. 2016. Coming up on 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost 5. Well, 5 in September. Been together 5 or 6. 6 years.
5, 6, 7.
Now, if we had a child and they had, and you were like this on your phone around, like a teenager, would you be setting a bad example for them? Yes.
Yeah, and I don't like that kids are on their phones so much. I mean, when I was a kid, if you showed your face in the house between like 10 a.m. and sundown, your parents would just be like, the fuck are you doing back here? Get the
Right.
fuck back outside. The sun's not down yet. Get outside.
Yeah. Used
Kids-
to stay outside all the time.
There was
Ride your bike.
plenty to do. I was, as far as I was concerned, I was on the U.S. Women's Olympic gymnastics team. I had a lot to prep.
You were on a gymnastics team?
As far in my head, I was on the Women's Olympic gymnastics team from like a long period. Like I idolized those girls.
What year?
Them what was that? Like Carrie Strug and all of that was like
yeah.
20. So I get it mixed up because there was Oksana Bayul in ice skating, which I loved her too. But then there was the gymnast.
But
And
what,
I think it was like
you envisioned that you were on this team. Why?
I loved watching.
But you didn't do
gymnasts
gymnastics.
I didn't do gymnastics.
It was
Thank God.
It was
I
a
didn't
fantasy
need,
of yours.
I didn't need any more of a fucked up flat body than I already have. But I did do ice skating. I did do figure skating, and I figure scat. Is that the?
I don't know if that's a
past
term,
tense
but
of skate.
sure.
I figure skated with my coworkers begrudgingly about a year ago, and I skated circles around everybody. I'm not athletically inclined at all, but I couldn't skate.
So now I feel like you fall into the category of you're a child kind of with a phone, and you're not going out and doing figure skating or roller rink or gymnastics.
I think I think anxiety is like a big thing, and I think that a lot of people have coping mechanisms, and being on my phone is a way to cope with
Your
anxiety.
phone is like a blanket for like a child that won't get rid of it.
I'm like Linus,
Yeah.
except also Pigpen.
Yeah. Well, Pigpen. What do you mean? Oh, why?
But then
what do you
also
mean
Lucy.
Pigpen? Why are you like Pigpen? Pigpen has a cloud of dirt around him. I hope you're not like Pigpen.
I mean, I don't know. People think that I'm like a hippie, and like I'm gonna say it right. I'm gonna admit it to the world.
On his face.
I don't shower every day. I don't think you need to. I think that's too much.
You shower before appropriate.
I haven't worked out since before our wedding.
When did you work out before our wedding?
I used to love working out, but I worked out.
When?
Remember, I had a 24-hour fitness membership.
Yeah, I remember going to get that.
Yeah.
With a group, LA Fitness or 24-Hour Fitness, whatever it was. You still have that, don't you?
No.
You paid for that for years, for like 4 years,
really did.
And you never went.
It was like $30 a month or something.
And how much is that over 5 years?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not
a
good
waste
at math.
of money.
5 years.
See, I don't understand that about you. You are very like, save money. Oh, don't spend this money. How much was that? What is this? You know what I mean? Yet you wasted 5 years of a gym membership at $30 a month a pop. For how many years? How much is that?
Let's see. Let's just take it down a couple notches. This isn't counseling, Doug. This isn't Monday, and I don't see Brian. So
that's about $2,000, if not more, that you wasted.
You just did the math.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's a vacation.
we all have our thing.
I'm not saying Look, you get a husband and wife on one of these things, you're going to talk about stuff. I mean, this is like pinning you down for an hour just to talk is
pinning me down.
Yeah. Well, that won't be on the video.
That's something we haven't talked about.
What?
Pinning down. Write that one down as an idea.
That's a wrestling.
Am I supposed to take notes? Is that why you gave me a piece of paper and a pen here?
No, that was just there.
Well, I'm going to write pinning me down. As an idea. Just an idea.
All right. Well, working out is something that you want to do, or you have no interest in it?
I mean, I should do it.
I mean, I don't like doing it either, but I'm trying to start doing something because I'm 40 now.
I'm more interested.
Why not start when you're 40?
And I know you're going to roll your eyes as soon as I say this. I'm more interested in starting a puzzle than I am in working out.
But what is that going to do? I mean, that might help your mind.
It does help your mind.
Right.
I don't want to get Alzheimer's. I don't want to. Alzheimer's. Old timers.
No, it's not.
I used to think it was old timers.
A lot of people did.
I used to think it was roast beast.
It can be roast beast.
I used to think it was
all
from intensive purposes. Intensive, not intense and.
All intents and purposes? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and then I'll never forget when I realized that Jonah was like, for all intensive purposes, Cassie is a moron. I'm like, that fits.
What kind of puzzle would you do?
You know, they had some really cute puzzles at Barnes & Noble. There was like ice cream.
See, I'm against the puzzle thing.
Because you don't think we have space in this 3-bedroom house.
I just think you're going to give up on it.
Well, that's encouraging. Thank you, darling.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying the puzzle, it comes out, how many pieces? 1,000 pieces or whatever?
You can get 500.
All right, 500.
Let's start
Why don't you start with like 30 piece puzzle?
30 pieces,
50,
Doug.
50 piece puzzle. 50 piece puzzle. Look, I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to tell you again later. 50 piece puzzle. You start with that. See if you do it. See how long it takes. And you complete that. Then you move up to 100 piece or 200 piece.
Okay. I think we can move on from this subject.
I mean, look, I'm concerned that it's just going to be sitting out the whole time. Or you're going to lose a piece and then you're going to get pissed. And
No, but Sarah, they actually make these things now where it's a roll-up mat for your puzzle. So once you're done with it for the day, it's on this thing and you roll it up. And then when you're ready to do it again, you unroll it.
Just like the paint that you bought that you were going to do paint night?
I did do paint. I did paint. We have paintings. There's paintings in the bathroom. There's 2.
Those were made in Hawaii on vacation.
No, that's one. That's in there in the bedroom. There are 2 paintings that I made. There's the splatter paint and there's the mountains.
Well, what happened to doing that? You did that once. That was supposed to be like every week.
Okay, why don't Yahtzee, Doug? I'm not calling you out for every project you've started
Go
and
ahead.
not finished.
Call me out.
What happened? Listen, Farmer Joe, what happened to the corn stalks in the back?
Oh, I tried
like
doing
we're
that.
friggin' Idaho
I
here.
tried doing that.
Living
and,
in Hollywood.
I spent
rats,
all summer doing that.
And you got a corn. That's the most bizarre.
And
vegetable garden.
I had 4 pieces.
Urban vegetable.
I had 4 pieces of corn. I ate them. You were not in town when they were ready to be eaten, and I ate them, and they were good. And that was it. And it was very hard to grow. I tried. I spent like $300 trying to do that garden, and I got like a couple tomatoes and a couple pieces of corn out of it and some herbs. And I'm done.
Everyone started a new hobby, and some of them stuck, and some of them didn't. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well, that's all right. I mean, yeah, it's time for hobbies and growth.
I'm a better chef than I am a painter.
Delicious.
I am.
Cassie made.
I brought you back from COVID death with my.
Cassie made me sandwiches every day, eggs. What else? Pastas, meats,
tacos. But like, really, these all sound like basic things, but.
But they were big for you.
They're flavorful.
They were very good,
Pack a lot of
and
flavor.
you weren't really cooking much during. I mean, you started during
the pandemic. What are you reading your chat messages or something?
No,
you seem distracted.
I have notes in front of me.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
It looks like you're like sidebarring.
No. I have notes in front of me. Do you think this is all just off the top of my head?
Well, I was actually kind of hoping. This is prepared.
Well, you asked me before we started recording, did you prepare? So why would you ask that?
All right.
So the cooking has stopped,
Love
though.
and marriage.
The cooking has stopped the past couple weeks.
Marriage.
So what happened to the cooking?
You know what happened to the cooking. We're not going to get into the details of what I've been busy with, but I've been busy.
I know.
And
well, the cooking return. That's what I kind of want to know.
The cooking will return. It's going to return. You know what? I'm going to go east a little bit, and I'm going to get some inspiration from Memphis.
Oh, all right.
From Memphis, and that could segue into what I thought. Maybe we could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have other things you want to talk about, but I was inspired by some of the other podcasts that you have. As I was thinking about, I'm like, asshole stories. It's like where I've asked some people what their asshole stories are, and they're like, I don't really know if I have any. I'm like, what? I'm like, I could tell stories for months.
Well, that's the thing. People come on here, and a lot of them are worried
pussies?
or scared. Well, yeah.
Pussies.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what kind of job they have. It depends on who they are. I don't know.
Most of our friends don't have jobs.
No, I'm not saying everyone.
Let's be real.
I'm not saying everyone, but certain people. Yeah, I mean, or they just they are kind of timid and pussy-ish.
I'm just kidding. Our friends have jobs. I'm just being an asshole, I guess. Yeah. It is the asshole podcast.
What? All right.
No, I think that people are afraid to. I think people are afraid to admit when they're assholes. I do think there are genuinely things that what I'm bad at is, especially when I've got liquid courage, I tend to think. So, vulnerability. Let's back it up. Vulnerability. So I have a friend who, like, is winning the game of life when it comes to vulnerability, and it pays off in spades. And she's actually someone who I'm meant to see on this trip that I'm embarking on, which we'll talk about. My friend Jess, she is a strong character, and she just can say the most outlandish shit sometimes, like even in a professional setting, but she's so unabashedly her, and she's a genuine, I mean, underpinning it all is she's a genuinely great person. She's always there for her friends, and she's very giving, like very, very giving, very generous person, very sweet, like ride or die girl. She's never judged me. She's awesome. We're besties, but she's also just herself and so comfortable in her shoes. And even if people at first are like, oh, I wouldn't do that or say that or this, that, I think because she's so just unabashedly herself, people respect that.
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain, like if people are their true selves, there is a respectfulness that comes out of it. I think you fall into that category as well sometimes.
But I flip-flop sometimes, and that doesn't work. I feel like it's worse with me. But what I was going to say is, like, sometimes I'm too open about things, and I think that I'm in the trust nest, especially when you're drinking. Sometimes, like, you think that you're in the trust nest, and you're not. You are in a thorny patch of thorns.
Well,
and
yeah, I mean,
there's vultures around you, and they're going to peck your eyes out if you're not careful.
Well, I mean, yeah, because when you have a few drinks, I mean, there are times where just say whatever. It's
me specifically. Yes,
yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
it's called oversharing. I overshare.
And everyone may not be at the level that you're at that point, and it's almost like, whoa, what?
I just don't like judging, but who gives a shit? It's not like I could see if I said that I like murdered somebody, but like, I don't know. As long as you haven't murdered or like hurt someone intentionally, emotionally, physically, or otherwise, like if you just start doing, like, if you, there's just so many judgmental people in the world that like, oh, you got to follow this path, and you've got to do this at work, and you've got to do this in a relationship, and you've got to do this as a daughter, and you got to be, it's like no one, we don't have to do really anything but be respectful towards each other and be loving and kind, and then otherwise it's like, do you? And, but I think sometimes I probably shoot myself in the foot because I'm kind of like halfway in, halfway out with the honesty stuff. And maybe sometimes a friend of mine, we were talking this weekend, and she was like, I told her that I describe her as having a big personality, which is like 99% of my friends. And she was like, oh, is it too much? But then we were talking about it, and she's like, I was like, it's never who you are is never the problem. But sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot when, especially like if you're dating and you try to be someone different on that first or second date, like, your shit's gonna come out. You gonna show your ass.
Well, they usually say, like, when people are dating, like, the third date is like when you really find out who this person is or how they are, or true colors or whatever.
Why don't you share a little bit about our first date and tell me if you feel like I hid anything?
I'm not saying
no. That's
everyone.
what I'm saying.
But I'm saying in general, there was some article I think I read a while ago, like they say, like, 3 dates, and you kind of know, either this person's for you or not, or you like their, personality or whatever.
So you know by the third date.
Well, that's what they're saying. I mean,
most guys don't even let it get to the second date, let alone. It depends what city you're in. In Austin, they're ready to marry you the second date.
Most first dates, I think everyone is like their best self, or they're putting on a front, or timid, not sure how to act towards the person or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think on our first date, like, I was kind of like timid because I was like, I was like, oh, like, I think because it took us so long to actually meet.
And what was I like?
Well, you were great, but I mean, like, you were you were outgoing and,
that's
forward.
Forward is
forward, yes.
Very forward. I love how you say forward.
Forward.
No, it's cute. I like
But
it.
I mean, for me going into it, like I don't know what your like intentions were when you first met me. I mean, obviously, you know we both were like dating around or whatever and single, but I was more like, oh my god, like it took us a year to actually meet in person, and we had like some sort of connection. So I was like, I'm like, well, there's either gonna be like the first date we go out. Waffles, stop. The first date that we go out, it's either gonna be like this date and that's it. It could be, like it could be like one dinner date and then like we don't talk anymore, or it's over or whatever, or we're not into it or whatever. So I go into it trying to be my best self and nice and a gentle. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's pressure on it if you're really interested in the person on paper, or like what they look like and what they do and how they are.
There is, but like
but
pretending to be. I mean, in that scenario,
I mean, I never pretended to be like someone I wasn't. But
no,
I was the nicest version of myself, and trying to be a good person, a good guy, a good date. Good first date.
You were great. I mean, honestly, the moment that, like, as we were like finishing dinner and you suggested karaoke, I was like, honestly, where do I sign? Like, I just need to know where the paperwork is because I'm ready. And the cool thing
Hold on, let me get my briefcase.
The cool thing is like a year and a half, barely a year and a half later, that's exactly where we got engaged. But that night, like, you asked if we could go to karaoke. I was like, dude, this guy is singing. And not only did you take, it would have been one thing if you took me to karaoke and you just watched me sing the whole time, but you got up there and sang, and you sang well. I mean, I guess I don't care that you sang well, but you were just super into it, and it was just fun, and I could tell that we were into the same shit. And then we got back to the hotel room, and then I was just like, to be honest, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like if I were a guy, you might have, like, accused me of Me Tooing you, because I was like, I could have gotten canceled. Because I said, I was like, let's go back and watch movies. And I'm pretty sure I damn well knew that, I'm not paying for movie, like I'm in a hotel room. And I was like, oh, let's pay for a movie. And then I'm like, oh, oops, no movies. Hey, like, no pressure.
I think I was more, I was more like, I was like, because I wanted to see you again. So it was like, I think I came from the world of like, oh, okay, like if we hook up, like, it might be like a one and done thing or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how I feel like that's
because
what women worry about.
Well, because like I don't know you, and like I don't know. I mean, obviously you were here for work, and like you're busy, and you got shit going on. I don't know. And like I had stuff going on certain days and stuff, but you know what I mean? It's just like you don't want to screw it up, Like, because if it is,
you don't want to like do something crazy, like say like I love you.
Oh yeah,
the
like
first night.
You did. But there was also alcohol involved, so it's like there's all these different variables where it's like, all right, like are we gonna hook up? We're drunk. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yet I still want to talk to you in the morning.
But here's the thing. My theory is that you can do just about anything that is like not that's not violent or completely insane, and like it's not going to change somebody's opinion of you if they like you. Like, you already knew that you really liked me, and you saw all these things in me. I checked all these boxes that you didn't think that a girl could check, and that's why I could say crazy shit like I love you on the first night, and like ask you like, when are you gonna kiss me, and when are you gonna unbutton my dress, and things like that. I was very aggro the first date, but you liked me, and that's like when guys are like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship with you. Ladies, where do I look into? Is this the camera that I look into?
Yeah,
ladies,
the one with you on.
When a guy says I'm not ready for a relationship, the with you is silent. Remember that. If someone right comes along, I don't care. You're not going to if they're really right and you know it, you're not going to let them go. So like, I don't think I would be willing to bet that in the history of the world, very rarely is someone like recognized that someone is great and perfect for them and been like, but you know what, I'm just not emotionally available. It's okay.
No, he keeps screwing up the show.
All right. Well, he's our son.
I know, but like it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Here, I'll
just leave it. It's very unprofessional.
It's COVID. Everyone understands.
Penny, don't go over there. I swear to God. Come on.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. All hell is breaking loose in the studio.
Anyway.
All hell.
Now it interrupted,
it's a doggy
now it
dog
interrupted
world.
your story, which was good.
No, it's okay. No, we got it. I think we got it. The point is What is the point? No, the point is vulnerability. So with this asshole show, most people, it just seems, are not vulnerable enough, and I don't blame them necessarily, because vulnerability is hard enough when I can't even say vulnerability. It's such a difficult. It's like Marlboro. I can't say that. Luckily, I'm not a smoker, so it doesn't matter. But
Marlboro man.
Vulnerability is really what we're talking about here. Vulnerability is the ability. No. So vulnerability, it's difficult enough with someone that you know and trust, but with the whole world, I get it. But here's the deal. This is the Asshole Podcast. If you're going to come on the show, tell a fucking story about a time that you were an asshole. I'm prepared to do that.
Right.
Now, am I going to tell my worst asshole story? No, because this is public.
That's true. Well, Cassie has set everyone straight that does want to come on the show. Yeah, you should live up to those standards.
I'm not calling anyone out.
No, I know. All right. Well, this is the Asshole Podcast. So, yes, we do want to dive into a story, a time in your life that you were an asshole. It can be an isolated incident, a chunk of time in your life. Cassie doesn't like when I say chunk of time. She said I should say period of time, but then I'm like, that makes me think of a period, not the grammatical way. So I'm saying chunk.
He's a 14-year-old boy.
Chunk of time in your life that you were an a-hole. Maybe you're one right now and you're dealing with it. Maybe someone thinks you are one and you weren't. Maybe you dealt with one and you had to tell them to go fuck off. Any of those things that you'd like to share with the audience.
Yeah, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but it's definitely disappointing to me. I can't even say it's a chunk or period of time. I feel like it's a lifelong condition that the thing that I enjoy. One of the things I enjoy the most in life is also a time where I am often an asshole. And that is traveling. I am an asshole traveler sometimes. Like, am I disrespectful of other cultures? Am I rude? Am I, highly demanding to service people? No, but I definitely inconvenience myself, others. I just do stupid shit when I travel because I'm very bad at time management, which is something that I'm working on in counseling. Yeah, I guess I'll just I wrote down, here we go. I talked to you about this idea before, and it's not written down. So I'm going to read out the titles for 5 different stories that I can talk about. And just by the title alone, you pick the first thing I talk about. So I wrote down tanning bottle. And there's actually 2 stories there. Lounge, sneaking first class, fart covered face, helicopter ride. And then also, let's throw in there, we'll definitely talk about Iceland at the end, because that's a group story. That's a couple story.
What about St. Lucia?
That's a helicopter.
Okay. All right. So let's do.
So tanning bottle, lounge, sneaking first class, fart covered face, helicopter ride.
Fart covered face, tanning bottle, and helicopter.
We'll talk about all of them. It's just the order.
All
okay.
Right, whatever you want.
So fart covered face, which is funny because I have serious gas right now.
Great.
So
this is a small studio, by the way.
I know. Why do you think Penny is laying down for cover?
All right, go ahead.
Anyways, okay, fart covered face. So I love this. This is kind of a quick one. I don't know. I just feel like, look, our bodies were clearly made such that we fart. So it's like, and what else are you gonna fucking do if you have to fart? So we were, and in this particular scenario, I didn't have any. So I'm on a flight home from Vegas. I had gone to Vegas for one night to see John Mayer and Dave Chappelle, and I'm coming home and I'm excited to. You actually stayed home that night. You weren't going. You were tired that night and didn't want to go out. But I was going to meet.
I didn't want
friends.
to go to Vegas that night.
No. No, I was coming back to LA. I met Ty for dinner, and then I went to a New Year's Eve party. Now, before anyone tries to cancel me, this was before COVID. This was years ago. I think it was heading into 2019. So it was a while ago. But anyways, it was Vegas, and I had eaten a lot. That day I was alone. I spent the whole day basically watching football at at the Wynn. They have that really nice
All right.
bar area,
Yeah.
and I ate a lot and I had some gas, and we were descending, and when you're descending, you can't get out of your seats. It's not like I can't open a window, obviously, or the woman next to me would get sucked out of the window. We don't want that. I can't get up and go to the bathroom, so I had to just fart in my seat. And apparently it was so bad. I shit you not, the woman, she was wearing like a little, like one of those silk scarves, and she pulled it over her nose and wore it over her nose for the rest of like the descent.
See, now people are glad they have to wear masks.
I know. See, that's a benefit.
See, with that kind of situation, I always test the situation out. Like, I'll like let it out a little bit and be like, does this smell? I don't know. Like, I'm going to hold it in if it's really bad.
Why were you was I telling that story too long? You were like rushing me. I feel like your other guests like take way longer to tell a story, and you're like, oh, get to it.
Well, you're saying you're at the Wynn.
Well, I'm trying to set it up.
Yeah, well, we don't need to know you're at the Wynn.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I like the Wynn. All right, what's next? We had tanning bottle, lounge.
Tanning bottle.
Okay. There's 2 stories to this. So here's the thing. Vacations to me, living in New England, as I got older and cared how I looked, so like teenage years and above, like one of my primary goals on vacation was to get a tan living in New England. Once I realized that I looked way better with a tan, I always wanted a tan, and I lived in New England, and those chances were few and far between. So now that I live in California, I shouldn't need that, but I just can't now be bothered to lay outside. So in the pandemic, I've become a huge fan of like self tanners, and specifically like very, very ultra dark, like foaming self tanners. I've tried all of them. I can do a whole podcast on that separately. But traveling with it is difficult because it's more than the stupid 3.3 ounce thing, which is like, are we still really doing this? Like, Texas already got rid of masks. Why are we still we can't
Because
have more than 3.3 ounces?
People are going to try to have bombs on the plane and stuff.
Oh my God. You know what I'm going to do? Because they say that you can have food. I'm gonna wrap it up like it's a ketchup bottle or something like that.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you just put it into a Ziploc bag or something? Or like
I don't know.
Will that be allowed on still?
I don't know. But anyways, the first story is that
put it in a hummus container.
So the first, I keep, I'm like, if it's sealed, both of the times they were sealed, they were brand new. The first time I was going to a destination and I had a brand new thing on me, and they fucking stopped me. And it was like really late at night at LAX. There was nobody in line. I had a little bit of time. I never really have time, but I had a little bit of time. And I was like, I really can't take it. They're like, you have to check it. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that. So I'm like, I'm just going to put it on right fucking here then. And I literally like rolled up my sleeve, took off my jacket, rolled up my pants, and I'm just like applying sunless tanner.
Yeah, come on.
And then the second time you were with me, it was recently.
And I saw this unfold, and I was like, are you serious?
So I had ordered some of the sunless tanner to our hotel, because God forbid I actually like sit outside in Florida and get a real tan. And I never ended up using it, because again, poor time management. And, so I was like, well, I want to take it home with me because it's like $35. So I had it in my bag, and I was just like, oh, maybe it won't be a big deal. Then, like, you always think like, oh, well, not you always. Maybe this is just me. But I'm like, maybe it's not that big of a deal. And then but once you get in line, you're like, you think that you've got 80 kilos of like Coke strapped to you. And like reality sets in that they're going to catch me with something. And nobody I don't care what it is. No one likes to be caught. No one likes to get in trouble. It like goes back to when you were a kid.
Right.
You know,
but the thing with that situation is you asked the person.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Right,
so I asked the guy. I was like, "Look, this is sealed. Can I bring it?" And he was like, "No,
nope.
It's over 3." And I was like, "Okay." So what do? I put it back in the bag,
and I watch you do it.
And he's watching me.
I watched you do it, and I was like, "No, come on."
And like, by the way, we did not have time to get to like we did not
never
have time to spare.
I
know. We'll get into that. We'll get into that whole thing. We were already late, and like there were other bags ahead of me that had to be looked at. Like this was taking up a lot of time. So Yeah, sure enough, they saw it and they took it aside, and like I could just see the guy looking back at me like,
yeah, the same guy that said no to you is the guy who finds it, and then it takes him 10 minutes to find it again and run it through the thing and stuff.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, yeah, that was an asshole thing, because it's like, you know, they're gonna find it. It's huge, the bottle.
And then what's my response to that is
what did you say?
why don't we go stop? Why don't we go stop by the lounge before we get on the flight? And you're just like, what the fuck? So I'm gonna decide that we're gonna go into the lounge thing, because no matter what, look, my perspective is I forget if it's $95 a year or $200 a year. It's
your perspective's fucked.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
So I pay a stupid amount of money a year for this stupid card that comes with American Airlines lounge access, and I want to get my money's worth. I also want a free drink. So it doesn't matter. I could have 2 hours for a flight, which, let's be honest, when does that ever happen unless I have a connection? And even I could have an 8-hour connection, and I will find a way to be late to my second flight. I will seek out ways to be late to flights. And it's like, you would just think that my mom's perspective on that would be like, all I'm doing is hurting myself. No, I'm always somehow inconveniencing, whether it's my travel partner or it's like the woman at the desk or something. Like, I almost wasn't home the night before Thanksgiving because I got to the Key West airport late. And then what do? And like, I pull out the waterworks. And here's the funny thing, like, I had to cry and beg, like it was a whole thing with the woman at the at the check-in desk. But then I wasn't even fast enough. I dilly-dallied once I got through security, and they almost had closed the door to get on the damn plane. So I like almost missed it twice. So I often do that.
Yeah.
There's been times where like I go like, there was one time where I like met someone in line and we were like, do we have time to go do shots? I think we have time. By the way, I was like 25 when this happened, but we were like, let's go do shots at the bar. We do shots at the bar and I'm like, I thought, 16 minutes, that's forever. We come back. I shit you not, it said closed on the thing. The guy starts pressing buttons on the door, like to the jetway. And I'm like, dude, even if you know the code, how the fuck do you know the code and we're going to jail? Somehow we miraculously made the fight. But did I just like get on quietly? No, I asked the woman, I was like, do you have any seats? Like, could we sit next to each other? She's like, get the fuck on.
I know. If I was a flight attendant, I would rip you a new asshole, I think, speaking of assholes. The tanning bottle thing, I saw you do that whole thing, and I was like, why did you waste our time and that guy's time? Like why don't you order it and send it to wherever the hell you're going? Like, you got to put it on. You know you're going to want it. It's $30-$40 a pop, so it's not cheap, and you keep throwing them out. And you're putting it on at the security gate. See, I wasn't with you when you were doing that, but like,
no, I was alone. Thank God.
That would piss me. That would piss me off.
Can you imagine seeing someone applying self tanner in the middle of like security at an airport? That's what I was doing.
I gotta tell, and then, Kenny, God damn it. Now, of course, the dogs bark. And then when we went to St. Lucia, we missed our flight because you didn't get up early.
Yeah.
Or on time or whatever. International flight. Was that my birthday? I don't remember. Cassie's texting.
That's not anyone here, is it?
I hope. I don't know.
Okay.
Cassie's texting and podcasting at the same time.
Well, because I'm wondering if somebody's here.
Well, it's 7:30, so no one should be here.
Yeah, because we said 7:30, so like you're kind of an asshole if you show up any earlier than 8:15 when you say 7:30, right? Like,
right.
Just understand that we
let's
mean
get back.
8:15.
These people don't know this, so let's get back to the stories.
Okay.
So we miss a flight to St. Lucia. I think it was my birthday or something. It was someone's. It was a wedding.
It was Shayna's, which I'm going to see Shayna.
But it was also my birthday, I believe.
Yep. It was around the time of your birthday. Yep.
So we miss an international flight to St. Lucia from LA because I always say, like, we got to get there, and you didn't get up in time.
I didn't get up in time,
and we missed it. And you did pull the Waterworks card at the
didn't work.
The desk, and they were like, tough shit. Yeah, here's a flight to Miami, and then you could stay there and go the next morning. We missed a day for the vacation.
We could get some nice food in Miami.
Still.
Yeah, that wasn't the point of the trip.
I mean, I got to tell you, I gotta tell you, like,
wasn't good.
I like traveling with you, but it stresses me the fuck out sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I always joke about, like, you know, because we have done trips where we've taken separate flights because one of us has booked a flight without the other one or found it cheaper. I don't know, whatever. And we've met at the place, and I was like, "This ain't a bad idea with you, Cassi Pires."
You want to make a movie about like couples that traveled separately but together.
I do think it's a funny idea because they do say traveling is the worst part of a vacation with a family, with whatever, because you got to deal with everyone else's things that are going on.
Well,
whether it's lateness, losing things, which we both are guilty of, but
both are.
You especially, I would say, on trips.
Half and half.
I don't lose things on trips.
I found your wallet today, but anyways,
but it was home. It was in the car. It wasn't
in the car.
When we first dated,
Outside.
the first time you came here to visit me, you left your laptop on an airplane, and we had to take a cab from Hollywood.
But hold on, before we wrap, let's finish what happened. But you got to give it to me for a creative way to solve the issue of us missing the flight to St. Lucia. Is the other thing we had to deal with when we got to St. Lucia was a 3-hour ride from the airport. Because here's the thing, you could fly into the airport that was like right next to the wedding venue if you wanted to spend like $17,000. Everyone else flew to the other airport where you had to then take a 3-hour flight. But I found out you could take a helicopter from that airport to the other one because it was such a popular area to go to. But it was like $150 per person. So instead of like me taking full responsibility, I was like, well, it's Doug's birthday and his friends can't be with him. And again, pre-COVID. So I like went around and like crowdfunded our helicopter ride.
That's also
I got like all of our friends and family to pay for us to take a helicopter ride because I missed
because you
the
fucked
flight.
up. But that's also an asshole move, I would say. Because
why do you think I'm bringing it up on the asshole show?
I know.
Isn't this the asshole show?
It is, but it's like, oh, does Doug want a helicopter ride for his birthday? No.
I wasn't going to ask friends and family for shit otherwise. You were either getting that or nothing. So
I know, but it's like I get this helicopter ride from hell.
Hey, it was beautiful. No. You liked it. I was scared.
It was scary. It was nice, but it was scary.
You were taking videos and photos
but
like
at
you
the
were
same,
goddamn.
But at the same time, I'm like, this thing could crash into the mountain. And,
you were like Maverick up there, and I was.
Now you think of shit like
what's the other
Kobe
sidekick
dying
guy?
in a helicopter. You're like, I'm never taking this thing again.
Oh God, no, bring that up.
But it is like, it's like oh, like this is my birthday gift, a helicopter ride. Okay, great. You have a way of doing that, like weaseling things in somehow.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's the last thing I'll say. Like my last asshole thing was it was like one of my last flights.
Do you think that's a little selfish?
Yes, of course it's selfish. I look, I'm an only child. I definitely have only children tendencies. Like, for example, like when I travel and I stay with my friends, I just use their shit. I don't ask. Like in my mind, like it's an awkward, I shouldn't have to ask. I don't like it when people ask me, just use my shit. How am I even going to know, by the way? And even like
what do you mean?
Like
use
Lauren comes here and all
what?
kinds of food goes disappearing. And I'm like, she doesn't really like, Lauren's not like a big eater. So I'm like, I can't imagine it was her, but she also likes to clean. So maybe she threw things out. But then I always default to like, I probably did something with it and I don't remember. So anyways, but like, so yes, I have some selfish tendencies. So for example, I thought that I was cute and I think that I'm like Kristen Wiig, and we're like recently on a flight. I just like walked my ass over to one of the many empty business class seats. And I just laid down, and I thought if I laid down and put a blanket over and covered myself wholly, that no one would notice that there's like a dead body looking thing laying in one of the chairs.
That's their job to notice that.
Exactly, right? We'd be in trouble but the guy comes over to me and he's like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, you can't sit here. You're gonna need to go back." And at first, I didn't answer because I think if I don't answer, then maybe he will think, "Oh, I've made a mistake and this is just a chair." But then finally he's like, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you need to go back to your seat." And all I could think of to say was, "I don't want to." And he's like, "I'm sorry." And I literally said to him, I was like, "I'm taking the blanket." And he was like, "That's fine."
But see,
and I did take the blanket and the pillow.
But didn't that work for you on some other flight that you were able to just sit?
I'm more asked. Like, I know what you're supposed to do.
I tried to do that once.
Do.
I tried to do that from Mexico City, and they kicked me out as well at one point.
Yeah, because you were inspired by me because I had gone to Brazil and got that. I'm telling you, that was the best flight of my life. But what that was like a guy. Like, that guy obviously had a thing because he, at the end of the trip, he came over to me. He's like, here's a little something to remember your sexual chocolate. It was a black man. I think his name was Carl. And he gave me like a chocolate shaped plane, like airplane like a wrapped one. But it was
a plane.
A plane. Yes. Like it was shaped like an aeroplane.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm an asshole when I travel. I am. Like, honestly, that's just, it's like
it
500 stories.
I'm going to admit, it stresses me out. Like,
I know.
Especially since we haven't been traveling much together in the past year since pandemic. So, like, when we went away, I was like, wow, this took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
Maybe I should meet you.
Well, look, I've got some things to work on. I don't like to stress people out, but we're all doing the best we can, right? Like we've all got.
But
I do
like when we finally get to wherever we're going.
Yeah,
together.
we always have
but
a great.
Getting there.
Our first night is always ridiculous. Okay, let's end it. We got to tell the Iceland story because you brought it up on the last one, and then let's end it because, quite frankly, I gotta.
Why don't we save that for the next one because we're already at an hour.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
My God, time flies when you're having fun.
Let me just ask you one or two questions here.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Complete this sentence with anything other than your job title. I am a blank.
Asshole? I am a singer.
You are a singer.
Yes,
you are. And I hope that you...
I can also be an asshole about karaoke, too.
Well, yeah.
Especially if I give the guy like $25 and he doesn't put me up like many times, I get pissed. I got pissed about that recently, actually.
Really?
Like in the last year, obviously. It's COVID, but...
Well, you are a great singer, and I hope you do focus on that more when things are starting to go back to normal. Carve out time for that again. What is the best compliment that you've ever received?
Two things come to mind. Three things. I'm usually described as being loyal. My parents always instilled in me growing up that I had good judgment, and that was kind of like a really great example of like good reinforcing behavior, like a reinforcing whatever you call it, like when you reinforce good behavior. And then I get Kristen Wiig a lot, not physically, but like that I'm funny like her, which is a huge compliment to me.
You are funny like her.
Thank you. My God, our dog is like molesting you right now. I know. He's going to be canceled. Waffles, this is not good behavior.
Waffles, this is on video right now.
Waffles,
people are going to see this.
That's like David Letterman sniffing Drew Barrymore's hair. Or no. Jennifer Aniston. Whatever.
All right. Well, Cassie, you really put yourself out there today with these travel asshole stories. There's much more that we want to talk about.
So much more.
Which we will next time you are on. And you really put yourself out there today. So the way we end the show is that everyone says their name and they say that they're an asshole. So go ahead.
Thank you, Doug. And thanks for having me on the podcast. Before this long journey home, I would just like to say that my name is Cassi Pires and I'm an asshole.
There you have it, folks. Cassi Pires Bass.
Yes.
And she is an asshole. Well, I thank you for coming on today and spilling all your asshole secrets and
spilling all your asshole
also having interesting things to talk to me about on the show as my wife. I feel like we haven't talked this long in a while. It's like an hour of straight talking.
Always got to find a negative thing.
Maybe we should come on here once a week and just talk.
Okay.
Catch up.
Why not? Rob does.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say on this edition?
No, just make sure to follow the Asshole Podcast on Instagram. Make sure to get on your Apple whatever, or the Stitchers or the Who Whats and the Where Nows. But like, Yeah, just like
Yeah.
it. Like it, comment.
Make sure you
say
guys
subscribe,
follow us on
follow.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. The YouTube the YouTube channel is at Doug Bass Comedy. Cassi Pires, you can follow her on what? Instagram. What is your name?
And we'll put my OnlyFans in the link down below.
Oh, you started an OnlyFans? I better get 20% of that income. No, she does not have one. So stop looking for it right now. Anyway, Cassi Pires, thanks for being on. Remember, folks, don't be an asshole, but if you are, laugh about it and talk about it. My name's Doug Bass. We'll see you next time. Bye. I forgot to say goodbye. I lowered the mic before I did that. Bye.